One area that a lot of people don't realize can really develop into a pretty good career is something called studio art. So if you're involved in your school in some sort of an art class, or you really enjoy art class and creating things like this is a career option. I have students who have done this as a career and been very successful in it. And we'll get to exactly how do you go about making this into a career and where do you go after high school. But studio art is definitely something that you could pursue. First, it takes an imagination. It takes an imagination beyond the pale, so to speak, that you can't just basically think of, I'm going to draw a picture of a clown, and here's a clown. And obviously, if you're artistic, you know what I'm talking about. It goes beyond that you're able to imagine things and come up with patterns and different things that are new and different abstract images that you could create. Some of my students have created things that I have hanging in my room that I'll give them an idea. I'll say, I need a mural in the 1960s. And what they come back with is something way beyond anything I was thinking. And it's really awesome. So if you've got that type of an imagination and that type of ability, then again, this is something with your creativity that you could definitely do. Which moves us to creativity. So if you have noticed in school that you are really good at thinking up something right from scratch, brand new, that maybe has never been done before, or you can put something that you have in your mind visually, you can put it down somewhere and create something. That's what we're talking about. Those are the skills you're going to have to need for studio art. Now, obviously, you can do studio art and you can put it on display, kind of like an art display. You can do that, and you can try to be an artist that way. If you've ever heard the term starving artist, the reason they say that is that it's very hard to make a living that way unless somebody big discovers you. So having a studio where everybody comes and buys your work, that takes a long time sometimes to even establish because you've got to be credible. They need to know who you are. So it's possible, but that one's a little more difficult to accomplish. Now, ads, publications, those are the places that really need people in studio art. I'll be honest with you, I'm a pretty good writer, and if I started a magazine, that's great. Now, if somebody said, so what is the cover of the magazine going to look like, Mr. Edmond? And I would go, oh boy, I don't know. That's when I would need somebody with studio art. I need to go to them and say, okay, here's the theme of my magazine. Can you come up with something? And here we go with the creativity and the imagination. So this is where, in today's world, a lot of magazines, publications, it could even be a website, will use you to help create the image for their product or their service or their magazine. So it is definitely in demand. So what can you do? There are 2-year colleges and institutions that are designed to help you develop your skills for this particular thing, for studio art. I had one of my students last year who graduated, and she immediately went down to the Columbus Academy of Art Design. What is she going to do? This stuff. And so her goal is that she wants to maybe eventually be in fashion. She told me that. Now, if she has studio design as a background in that, then right away that kind of launches her ahead in that field because they need people who are creative. So if that's where you are, there are colleges and places you can go and get kind of like what would be an associate's degree or maybe even more in studio artwork and studio design. And if you do that, you're able to not only do what you're passionate about and you're good at, but actually make it into a career, and maybe a pretty good one at that. So if you're creative, if you like art class, you can definitely use those skills to create a career for yourself. We'll see you next time.